Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
KHJ Los Angeles.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
It's Monday, folks, and you know what that is. It's time to clean the toilet. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's time for 87 Sports Fans Live. Yes. Yes, and with me, I am Keith Grieve from 87sportsfans.com, one of your illustrious hosts, and for the first time in 2 weeks, I am joined by my compatriot, Mr. Steven Taylor.
What is going on? Call me Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
How is your roof, dude?
I found out I have potentially something that's called ice damming, where I just got an overabundance of ice that built up in one part of the roof, and some of it is leaking in. So it's not as bad as it could be, but I have a big hole in my ceiling in my dining room, and it's not dripping anymore, so I take that as a victory.
No dripping is always a good thing.
No dripping. I have 15 feet of snow outside my window, but other than that, no dripping. I'm happy.
Just like your single days. No dripping.
Yeah. Cialis commercial.
Right. So, without further ado, we are joined by a very special guest. It's 87sportsfans.com's Western Conference blogger, Ranen Shulman, and we're going to talk a little NBA All-Star Game. That's right. I busted it out. And that's enough. So, Ranen, welcome to the program.
What's going on, guys? I hope that was a special intro for me. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's just as long as you can be the equivalent of Michael Jordan as a guest, then we are good. We are good.
Yeah, I'll do the best for sure. What's going on, fellas?
All right. Hey, just
nothing much.
In the '90s, were you a Michael Jordan fan or no? Because I know how Steve is with Michael Jordan.
I was actually. I grew up a Clipper fan my whole life, late '80s on. But I'll never forget. Obviously, you had to love Michael Jordan. But I remember one story specifically. Michael Jordan played the Clippers. They were beating us by like 70 or something rather. And Michael Jordan looked over to the Clippers bench and said, "Your crowd sucks, all 6 of them." And I'll never forget that. And I was like, man, this guy's good. So that's my favorite ever Michael Jordan story.
And the funny thing is that he wasn't exaggerating.
No, he wasn't. I mean, it was so bad at the LA Sports Arena that they legitimately used to have to give us free McDonald's just to get some fans in the building. And that's how bad it was in Clipperland at one point.
See, and nowadays with McDonald's, I'd have to know whether it was the Apple Wedges McDonald's or the straight chicken McNuggets McDonald's, where you don't know where the crap came from.
I don't want any sort of McDonald's. I'm a fan of fast food, but McDonald's just seems like anything they can find from the pit of hell, they put it in your burger, and that's what you're going to eat. So that's my take on McDonald's.
You'll have nothing like it, mister.
Yes, exactly.
Fair enough.
By the way, this segment of the program is brought to you by Burger King. No, just kidding. So the All-Star Game was last night. Part of the reason why Bob Sullivan's show only went an hour is because nobody wanted to come on because they were too busy watching either the Western Conference or the All-Star Game or the Saturday Night Live 40th anniversary show. Which one did you watch more of?
I definitely watched more of the All-Star Game. I'm not a huge fan of washed comedians coming back to try to relive some glory. I heard it was really good, but just not for me. It's just not for me. So definitely the All-Star Game.
What was that, Steve? What'd you say?
I said, quit picking on Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, Norbit was a fine
sad
piece.
In a day when you have Eddie Murphy and Chevy Chase on the same show, and Chevy Chase is funnier than Eddie Murphy. I mean, that's a crime.
Well, and Chevy.
Oh, did we lose Ranen? Oh, Ranen, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. We lost you for a second.
Sorry, this Disneyland signal. If I lose you, I'll call you guys right back.
It's the Michael Eisner Memorial Cell Tower.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so the All-Star Game, what do you think of it? Because I tweeted last night, and I stand by it. I hate the NBA All-Star Game. I mean, I hate it even worse than the Pro Bowl. Go ahead. You go. Give me your take on it.
I like it. I think that they're going to play any defense. Kind of like you're going to see scores you don't normally see in the NBA. I dig it. I mean, I understand. I'm kind of with
Oh, Ranen.
him. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. Something awful. Oh, and there he goes.
And he's gone.
And he's gone. Well, hopefully he'll call back.
I hope so, because he's the only counterpoint to I'm on your side. So.
Oh yeah, 'cause this show sucks when you agree with me.
Yeah, I know it's terrible. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. You and I know I don't have cable because I'm not going to waste all that money. So I didn't get to watch the All-Star game because once again they like to televise these things on cable channels. But it's I've watched the highlights, read everything about it, listened to everything about it, and if you watch those stands, those people had no energy level whatsoever. It was like going to an Atlanta Hawks regular season game.
It's not entertaining when you put up that many 3-pointers. You know what I mean? There was more 3-pointers than 2-pointers attempted, and I think only 3 of them were contested. And that might be stretching it. And Ranen is back on the line. So are you there, Ranen?
Hey, guys, sorry about that. I think the teacups were spinning too fast. My problem.
So go ahead and start over. What's your take on the All-Star game?
So as I was saying, is I enjoy it. I mean, I know what to expect from it. I know nobody's going to play any defense. I know there's not going to be any sort of X's and O's going on. It's kind of like a glorified slam dunk contest. And I'm kind of with a lot of people. I enjoy baseball, MLB's All-Star game a lot more, especially with there being something to play for. And obviously that's debatable whether people like the World Series home field advantage, depending on whoever wins. But at least there's something involved to kind of keep interest. It's really just, 22, 23, 24 guys playing an old playground game without any defense. So I know what to expect out of it. I enjoyed it. It was scores that we normally don't typically see. But, I was tagging on to your guys' point, not a lot of energy from the crowd. It kind of seemed like people were wasting their money a little bit. But, it is what it is. I enjoy it. It's an exhibition. I don't really, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're back to the regular season. So, it is what it is. You got to have one. I mean, it's better than the Pro Bowl, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I just don't know sometimes. I mean, I was watching these guys jog up and down. I mean, this was a close game, but if you look at the score.
Sure.
And there's the level of jogging because and I get that no one's going to go 110% because God forbid you lose like a Russell Westbrook or something to an ACL in an All-Star game. You know what I mean? I get that, but there was less defense in this game and every year at the NBA All-Star game than the Iraqi Republican Guard. Okay, it was god awful. I mean, no effort. I mean, have some kind of sense of pride. It looked like if you go to your neighborhood Y on open basketball night, and not the first set of games, but the last set of games where everyone's just walking foul line to foul line, hoping they don't have to do anything and just keep playing. And I'm exercising. That kind of thing.
The Mark John games.
Exactly.
Basically the set of games that I would be playing in with Bob Sullivan.
Yeah. Well, in my elderly state, as I push 40 now, that would be game number 2 for me. Like the first game, I'd be like all out, like yelling and screaming like an idiot, and then the second game, I'd be like, I gotta sit down.
I'll be honest with you. That's how I felt just watching the All-Star game. I know we were saying they were going half speed, but their half speed is still better than my at 300%. So, I can still respect what these athletes are doing for sure.
So then in the wake of the All-Star game, as soon as the lights go down in New York, the Knicks make a major deal and waive Amari Stoudemire, and he is a free agent for about a half a second. And it was announced earlier this evening that he has signed with the Dallas Mavericks. So
not overly surprised on that. I think it's a good move for Amari. I mean, obviously he's going to get pretty good amount of playing time in Dallas. They desperately needed another big. Does that change their fortunes? I don't think so. I still think they're kind of playing in the first round exit bowl, so to speak. I think them, Houston, the Clippers, those are all potential teams that can get bounced in the first round for sure. But, good for Amari because I think it'll give him a chance to show the league what he's got for next season. Somebody's he's not going to come back to Dallas next year unless they give him some sort of a big time deal. But I don't think it changes the fortunes for the Mavericks at all, in my opinion.
Well, and it all depends on who believes what Amari's got left in the tank.
Right.
because he's not the same player he was with Phoenix. And I know it was D'Antoni's offense was completely different.
Sure.
And I get that. But he hasn't shown any kind of ability, even remotely to what we saw in Phoenix, that earned him that big contract from the Knicks.
Well, I think the problem is he's playing for the Knicks. It's hard to stay motivated when you're already getting paid millions of dollars to play for a team that just absolutely stinks, that has no direction, this, that, and the other thing. Now, he was averaging 12 points and 7 rebounds with the Knicks, which I'll take that on my team any given night. But let's be honest, who on the Knicks is scoring and rebounding and producing? Somebody has to. It kind of reminds me of the same thing the Clippers did with Spencer Hawes. They brought in Spencer Hawes because he's putting up good numbers. But he's putting up good numbers on terrible teams. They're empty stats. So that's kind of my concern with Amari Stoudemire. Is he going to go to Dallas and actually produce, or is he going to go to Dallas and all of a sudden become 4 points, 2 rebounds, and it's obviously it's low risk, low reward, but still, how much, like you said, how much does he actually have left to produce and contribute to the Dallas Mavericks?
You look at the Mavericks front line right now with Nowitzki and Chandler, and Amari is kind of like the tweener between the two.
Yeah.
If Chandler's the post player, and I use that term liberally, by the way, on offense, and Nowitzki is the 3-point, 17-footer shooter, then Amari's game is somewhere in the middle, I think.
Right.
So it gives them a little bit more flexibility, I guess, to attack in a bunch of different ways. Which brings me to my second point, is as we go into the second half of the season, as we sit right now, the Western Conference seedings are the Warriors, Grizzlies, Blazers, Rockets, Clippers, Mavericks, then the Clippers, then the Spurs, then the Suns. I personally don't see San Antonio finishing with the 7th seed. So
I agree.
What's your take? Do you think the Warriors run this out and they finish the 1 seed? And what is there anybody out of the playoffs right now that you see sneaking in?
Yeah, I like the Warriors as the 1 seed. Now, does that really mean a whole lot come postseason? I don't think so. I don't think the Warriors win the West. As a matter of fact, I picked Memphis before the season started, so I'm still comfortable with picking the Memphis Grizzlies to win the West. But as far as kind of the ladder of it, I think San Antonio is going to move up. I think potentially the Clippers can miss the playoffs. It really just depends. Is anyone really comfortable with the Phoenix Suns in that 8th seed, knowing that you have the Oklahoma City Thunder that are still trying to kind of get healthy and get going. And who knows if the Thunder add another big, what happens kind of in the buyout season or the trading deadline. A lot of things can change in the West, and you got a lot of those teams from about 3 down that are kind of, they're kind of bunched together. So who knows? I'm uncomfortable with the Clippers situation right now. A lot of folks are breathing a little bit because they beat Houston and Dallas before the break. But come on, I mean, I don't think anyone's 100% sold on Dallas and Houston. Those are 2 teams that aren't interested in really playing defense anyways. So I'm uncomfortable with the Clippers right now. I really like the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think they're starting to kind of get the ball moving a little bit. But no, I definitely don't see San Antonio staying at the 7th seed. I think they get into that top 4. But at the same token, I don't think it matters for San Antonio. They just need to get to the playoffs healthy.
And that's why I wish Sullivan was able to come on tonight, because he said a couple weeks ago after the Rondo trade that Dallas was his pick to come out of the Western Conference now.
Yeah, and a lot of people have, and I don't see it. The guy can't shoot the ball. He's a crybaby. I mean, yeah, he defends and he rebounds and he does some other things, but a lot of people picked Dallas when they got Rondo. Now they're going to have Rondo and Amari, and they're still going to get bounced in the first round. Yeah. This team, let's be honest, if Dallas finishes 7th and has to play Memphis in the first round, that could be over in 5 games. If they finish 8th and they have to play Golden State in the first round, I'm not sure if they have the speed, athleticism to keep up with the Warriors. Now, can the Warriors stay healthy with their bigs as well? There's a lot that can play out here. But if we're talking solely the Dallas Mavericks, to me, they have to finish in that 6th seed and hope that Houston finishes 3rd, because then they can beat the Rockets. That's kind of a toss-up series. But other than that, I think Dallas is in a lot of trouble.
I don't think anybody's really ready to live in a world where the Golden State Warriors are the best team in the league.
No, and it's something I think it's something we talked about, not too long ago. You talk about teams that are relevant now that weren't, even 15 years ago when you have the Warriors and, teams like the Clippers and, the Phoenix Suns are coming back, and even the New Orleans Pelicans are trying to make a push. It's kind of odd. It's very, very strange. And I think it's out of the